Welcome in. It is Friday. Sorry, I just got big time pop-ups. I'm not sure why. I hope we're live. I'm going to be checking if we're live in a second. If we are live, I couldn't have botched that intro worse. So I'm going to start over and let you know that this is Total Bases. It's Friday, and this is your go-to show for Major League Baseball free picks on the WagerTalk network. We're here 5 days a week. I'm here with Bryan, Leonard, Tokyo, Brandon. I love the Friday show, guys, because we do the Thursday show where it's a watered-down slate, a lot of day games, and then we get, like, new series. Everyone plays. There's no day baseball, which I have a problem with, and you guys know that, but it's like a great way to kick off the weekend. I'll start with you, Bryan Leonard. I always find Fridays to be like my list of stuff I like tends to be bigger. I don't know if it's because we've got a new series. There's some overreactions to some of the stuff we saw at the beginning of the week, but I always get to Friday and I feel like I've got 7 or 8 games on my radar. I just curious to see if you feel the same.
Yeah, it's the fresh series, and although you don't like, we all like as baseball fans, we like the early games. I like Friday because it gives us more time to handicap the games as the day goes on, especially for some of us other than Tokyo that are up early in the morning here. Gives us a lot of time to check lineups and add anything as we go along during the day. So, yeah, I fully understand that, and I love the weekends, but I love Monday through Friday. I just love baseball, and it's been going pretty well for us.
I love baseball too. Good to be here. Good to bounce some ideas off a bunch of guys and even people in our chat who are very knowledgeable about baseball. It's great. I fortunately, due to the time difference, I have a chance to go over most of the lines and stuff before the show where maybe some of you guys don't. But it's good to be here. And there's a few things that I like as well today. I already have 2 plays out for MLB. So yeah, let's get to it.
Let's get to it. I didn't even really pick like a feature game because I don't know, I just kind of got on and got right into it. Kind of forgot to pick a feature, but I'll just kind of throw one out at random. They're all night games, so we don't have to worry about the shelf life game. Let's talk, like, I would say this is a feature matchup from a pitching standpoint. Out in the Lone Star State tonight, Bryan Leonard, we've got 2 very, very good starting pitchers and a very sort of big game for these 2 teams who are trying to chase down the Houston Astros, who have now sort of given themselves a 6.5-point cushion in the American League West. It's going to be Logan Gilbert against Nathan Eovaldi, Mariners Rangers. Does it get better than this from a starting pitching standpoint, Bryan Leonard?
This has been, I kind of talked about this yesterday. They've been a lot of really good pitching matchups this week, and almost all of them have ended up in low-scoring games. I could see this happening again. The only drawback is we got 2 guys recently coming back from injuries. Gilbert's got a start in, but both these guys are coming back from injuries, so you never know for sure what's going to happen. But if we get normal pitching out of each of these guys, this is going to be a low-scoring contest. Logan Gilbert, 3.12 ERA, 2.45 expected, 0.89 whip for the second year in a row. The only thing, he's in the 40 percentile in barrel rate. So every once in a while, somebody will hit him pretty hard, but he's 99th extension. He's already 6'6" with 99th extension. That means the ball gets right on you. So you don't have much time to relax. His whiff rate, 98th percentile, strikeout rate, 98th percentile, walk rate, 95th. This year, and it's only a small sample size, he's only thrown 40 innings, but his strikeout rate is 38. Last year, it was 27. So he's really tearing it up this year in his strikeout rate, and his walk rate for the 3rd year in a row is under 5. He's just been excellent. He's a guy in his 5th season, 3.58 career ERA. This guy's getting better every year, and you got to have a pretty good reason to bet against Logan Gilbert. But then again, Nathan Eovaldi, this guy this season comes in with a 1.56 ERA. His suspected ERA is 3.40, so he's been a little bit lucky. But his whip has been excellent, 0.81. His strikeout minus walk ratio looks to be about 23.6. So we've got two guys having two very good pitchers having elite years, and against teams that, in my opinion, especially Texas, very questionable offense. They had a lot of talent on this team last year, and nobody's really having a really big offensive season for them. Even some of the guys that we would expect to have really big seasons, and Seager and some others have not. So I could see this being a low-scoring game. The current number here between the two is we're looking at basically a pick 'em, minus 105, minus 108 either way. 7.5 on the total. It opened 8 under 25. I could see why it went under. Bet under a little bit, but still with these two guys on the mound, 7.5 in Texas, which is a pretty good pitcher's ballpark. I like this game under the total. The park factors today for this game, we're looking at runs minus 3% compared to normal. So, yeah, pretty good situation for the under here, and I think we'll see a really nice pitching matchup.
Yeah, pretty much agree. Regarding guys who come back after some time off, it is a little bit of an X factor, but the veterans, the good solid pitchers who are veterans, they usually can come back, pretty seamlessly. But they are on pitch counts, and they generally won't go past the 5th inning. Look at Imanaga yesterday. He came back, looked great, little bit limited. I expect both of these pitchers also to be limited. So if you do bet the under, maybe the first 5 under would be a good bet. Currently, I have Seattle batting number 3 in all of MLB, and I took their team total yesterday, and they did jack the entire game against poor pitching as well. I don't know what got into Seattle yesterday. It's really weird, but all the losing teams scored 1 or less runs yesterday, except 2 games. 1 or less runs for every losing team. It's almost like there was some kind of memo to the teams that if you're going to lose, don't score anything. It seemed that way because every team was 0-1, 0-1, 0-1, 0-1. It was really weird. But anyway, Seattle does have a good lineup, and they are hitting well, except for yesterday. Seattle has the better bullpen, but Texas has the better pitcher. But both of these pitchers really good. I expect them both to be solid for the first 5 innings. And like Bryan mentioned, Texas's offense is pretty much MIA these days. I have them ranked 23 out of 30. So, I would agree with the first 5 under here.
Well, I'll tell you what got into the Mariners yesterday. They had to sit around all day. Rain delay. I feel like, what did that game start for? Yeah, but they're on the road. They're trying to get out. They've got to go to a different city. So you can imagine how that would affect the Mariners more than the Twins right there, having to sit around for 4 hours when, ruins the travel plans and stuff like that. Yeah, they had nothing. And I to be perfectly honest, I didn't watch a ton of that game yesterday, but looked like they were kind of cooked right from the start, get blown out. Couple things here that pushed me toward the Mariners side. So Sean, I got to disagree with that. I put the comment on the screen. I don't think Logan Gilbert's on an 80 pitch count at all. The last 2 starts he's made, he threw 90 and he threw 84 and he threw 72 in his rehab start at Tacoma. So I can't understand. Now, I will say, I don't know. I'm curious to see if you heard them say something like this, because I will note the Mariners they've done the kid gloves thing with Bryan Wu coming off of an injury where they were like, not going to go past a certain number of pitches. I did not hear anything about a pitch count for Logan Gilbert. I think he's going to go 90, probably won't go more than 100, but who does these days, right? So I think it's a normal start for Gilbert. I'd be far more concerned with Nate Eovaldi. I actually don't know why guys do this. Like Verlander did this the other day. Why do guys not want to go throw a rehab start? It's very odd to me that some of these veteran guys, it's like almost like they pull rank in a sense where it's like they don't want to go to AAA or to AA and throw the ball before coming back after not throwing for a month. I rarely find it goes well, right? Like we just saw, I didn't think Verlander threw the ball poorly in that regard the other day, but that was the game where he still lost to the Guardians And it's more anecdotal for me. I don't have exact numbers, but going off of the top of my head, it tends to not go well when a guy hasn't pitched competitively for a month and then doesn't at least throw one sort of rehab outing. Just comes out cold, which is what Eovaldi is being asked to do here. I believe his last outing was May 27th when he got hurt. So you're talking about you're looking at a full month where he hasn't pitched in a competitive game. I tend to fade that a little bit. So we've also talked about Mariners on the road, how they play, how they profile better as a road team because they play in more hitter-friendly ballparks. All that stuff makes me lean toward the Mariners. Haven't bet it yet, but it is certainly on my list. Sean, I'm not disagreeing with you. Mariners coach last night said Gilbert would be pulled back to 80 to 85. I could see that. That being said, that doesn't concern me at all. I feel like that's kind of what you get anyway at this point. 80, 85, 90 pitches. That's like for across Major League Baseball, that's a full start at this point. Go ahead, Bryan.
Yeah, the reason why they do it with Wu is because he's always had injury problems. This guy, Gilbert, has not. Also, getting back to what Tokyo said, there's been 9 shutouts in the last 2 days. It's just amazing how bad these teams are losing, scoring 1 or 0 runs. My only loser yesterday was the Dodgers game, and Colorado, obviously, I thought would give them maybe 3 against Kershaw. Kershaw looked like his old self in that game. He dominated Colorado. And obviously the Dodgers, if you watch that game, the Dodgers had many scoring opportunities and they just didn't get it done. So that was my only loser with the total on that. And that was one of them. Afterwards, I found out just about everybody I respect was on the over in that game. And we've done this long enough where if everybody's on one side, something's up. So, yeah, I didn't get that victory. But, a lot of teams being shut out lately. Yeah, good catch on that.
Well, Bryan, one of those teams being shut out is the Kansas City Royals. And I got to shout out Colin Gregory because he has been here every day, sort of beating the drum with the Rays. And he's been right. The Rays went in. They dominated that series with the Royals, shut them out yesterday. Of course, the second I stopped betting on Shane Basna, I'm like, you know what? I'm out. 8 innings, shutout ball, looks as good as he possibly could. Now the Rays hit the road. They're headed to Baltimore. It looks like the chat is still beating the drum with the Rays. And I got to be honest, I can't disagree here because I don't really care for Sugano. Rays, Orioles, how are you seeing this one in Baltimore tonight?
Yeah, Pepio is Sugano. If you'd have made this line last week, maybe the week before, you would think Baltimore would have been favored because they had looked like they were turning it around. Hasn't worked out that way for Orioles fans. Tampa Bay, basically a 121, 122 favorite here, total of 9. Sugano's been the one bright spot in that starting rotation for Tampa Bay. He's done pretty well this year, and I didn't think a lot about him coming into the season. He is age 35, coming to the United States. Usually your older guys coming here for the first taste of the majors don't perform well. He comes in with a 3.55 ERA, but his expected is 4.97. I think we'll see more of it getting closer to that number as the year goes on. 1.21 whip. Other than his walk rate, which was in the 93rd percentile, he's in the 2nd percentile of strikeout percent. Strike percent, whiff rate, 4th percentile, expected batting average, 9th. So he's been very fortunate thus far. His strikeout minus walk ratio is at 9.5. Not the kind of thing I want to be backing in a pick'em game. Ryan Pepio, and we've talked about this in the past, he comes in with a 3.04 ERA, 3.65 expected, 1.10 whip. Very nice numbers, but his inconsistency has been the problem. His extension is in the 75th percentile, and that's what he does best. He is a fly ball pitcher here, and since Baltimore moved the fences in a little bit, there have been more home runs here. He's only 26% for a ground ball percentage. So I could see some runs here out of these two teams. It opened 9-15. It stayed there right now. Slight lean with the over here, especially the way Tampa Bay is hitting. I mentioned this the other day. I like the way the coach matches up lefty-righty with Tampa Bay. Baltimore does not hit lefties well. Unfortunately, they're going against a righty today. So if they get to the bullpen and Tampa Bay throws some lefties against them late in the game, that could shut down any Baltimore chance for a comeback here. So lean with Tampa, lean with the over. Probably won't get there for either one.
Yeah, Baltimore's hitting, or Tampa's hitting quite hot right now. Baltimore is not. Got them ranked 25th, while I got Tampa Bay ranked 4th in hitting. Bullpens, I have them pretty equal. Baltimore's bullpen ranks slightly higher, but bullpen shouldn't matter if you're losing the game. So, starting pitcher, I got Pepio ranked way higher than Sugano. Sugano's numbers, actually, the surface numbers not bad, 3.55 ERA with a 5.4 record, but his expected numbers are really bad. Although he does have good command, he doesn't really walk that many people, but his expected numbers are bad, which means he's been perhaps lucky. He should be giving up more runs than he is right now, according to my numbers. Here's two interesting stats. Pepio versus the Orioles in 58 at bats. They're only hitting 207 against him with a 637 OPS. Pretty good. And in his last 5 starts, he's given up 1, 3, 5, 0. I'm sorry, 1, 1, 3, 2, 0 earned runs. So 3 or less earned runs in his last 5 starts. Pretty good. Bryan says he's inconsistent. Well, the 3 earned runs is not really good, but aside from that, it's been pretty good actually. I was surprised you said that, Bryan. I think he's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, earlier in the year, lately he's been very good. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So he did start out very rocky. That's very true. So, but I think lately he's been pretty good. So that would be probably the only way I would go in this one. Baltimore's a bad team. If you go back to the beginning of the season, they were just horrible. I mean, they're doing a little better now thanks to their bullpen. But like I said, if you're losing 6-0, your bullpen doesn't really mean much. So, yeah, that's how I feel on this game.
Yeah, these two pitchers are not in the same stratosphere, in my opinion. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, Pepio had some issues earlier in the year where he was like, kind of getting his command in check and stuff. Last few starts, no problem. 8 strikeouts against the Rangers, 9 against the Red Sox, 11 Ks against this Baltimore team a couple weeks ago. They had no chance against him. 8 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 11 strikeouts. And it was pretty good against the Tigers last time out. 1 run over 5, 7 strikeouts. I think Sugano's going to get blown up this whole second half. You talked about him, not walking guys. Well, last couple starts, suddenly, he has walked, a couple batters, 3 walks against the Yankees, 2 against the Angels. Only hasn't been able to get through the 5 innings in any of his last 3 starts. These numbers of a 3.55 ERA and a 1.21 WHIP are going to balloon, in my opinion. So I'm looking to fade him. The Rays, in my opinion, if we're just talking matchups here, the Rays are the right side. I just go back to a comment Bryan made that I very much agree with. What would the line have been on this game a couple weeks ago, right? Like, I kind of feel like I'm paying too much for the Rays in this one. And then, of course, I think you do have to ask yourself, Rays just swept in Kansas City. It reminds me of, I think Marco brings this up during football season sometimes, where it's like they're fat and happy, right? Like, are they going to be a little full of themselves here? They just went on the road, got a sweep, have to go to another town. I don't know that it's the best spot for the Rays, just the way that the schedule plays out. But from a matchup standpoint, it would be Rays or nothing here. I just feel like I'm paying a little bit too much of a premium with the money line in that minus 130, minus 135 range. But yeah, you couldn't get me on the Orioles here. It's just not a good matchup for them, in my opinion. Hey, Archie boy, thank you for tuning in. And he says, Bryan, good call on the Marlins. That was a great call. Sure. What a great game that was. That wasn't really expecting that kind of offensive fireworks yesterday, but the Marlins, of course, he is referring to Bryan's parlay leg, which was a plus 138 underdog. I got to bring it up. We really have been unlucky in the parlay this week. 2 parlay losses where we were into a standalone last leg that was like minus 180 or minus 200, and we couldn't get it done. However, the parlay so far has been good. 13.24 units. So basically, for every dollar, if you've played the same amount on these parlays, you've made $13.24 on every dollar risked. That's pretty good. And by the end of the show, we will lock one of those in. So this is about the time where I'm going to ask you to like, subscribe, go on over to WagerTalk if you feel so inclined. We have a great 7-day special that's site-wide. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a promo right there. Apologize for that, but we got to pay the bills here. And we will, by the end of the show, 40 more minutes, lock in that 3-teamer that I hope closes out the week. But I want to go back to Archie's comment. He praises you for the call on the Marlins, Bryan. The Marlins come off of a 3-game sweep of the San Francisco Giants. They remain on the road out in the desert tonight. Very interesting matchup here, in my opinion. You've got Yuri Perez, and it's Merrill Kelly for the Diamondbacks. How are you seeing this one?
Well, that game wasn't quite as easy as I thought it was at one point. They were winning 5-0, and I had a first 5-inning bet, and then all of a sudden they give up 5 runs. They had to pull the starter, and it looked like they were going to lose the first 5 innings, and that was in the 4th. Ended up going 5-5, and then they scored 3 runs in the 6th, so it didn't matter. But yeah, that was a sweat when you got a 5-run lead in an underdog and almost lose it. Yuri Perez going today, 6.17 ERA, 3.62 expected. He's had some bad luck thus far. His whip right now, 1.63. That's his problem. Last year, he was about league average in walk rate. This year, he's at 13%. In fact, strikeout rate minus walk rate right now is at 7.4. Last year, it was over 20. So that's the difference when you're coming back from injury, and that's the problem we have with Yuri Perez. Great pitcher. I think he's got a great career, but he's still finding control. The last thing to come back is your control when you come back from arm injuries. His fastball velocity is in the 96th percentile. If you were to just look at these two pitchers and you didn't know Perez was coming back from injury, it would be a huge advantage here for Miami, a team that, as you said, swept San Francisco, is a very confident bunch right now, and the pitching is looking a little bit better. The starters have done pretty well since they've had so many injuries earlier. Miami's playing the best ball of the season right now, so I kind of like to play on Miami. The only problem is I'm worried about Perez, and as Tokyo says, too many question marks in that regard. Kelly's a guy, comes in 3.39 ERA, 3.91 expected, 1.05 whip. He's not a strikeout guy. So that's one of the reasons why we can usually get him at a bargain price. He's not a guy that's going to blow you away. This year, he's averaging 1 strikeout a game. Last year, less than that. In the year before, 2023, he had 187 strikeouts on the season. So he's a guy that can strike you out. But you take a look at some of his numbers. His extension is only in the 14th percentile, hard hit rate 18th, fastball velocity 15th. So he's a guy that can be hit. Prefer the Miami side. I think the line's a little bit too high, but I don't trust Yuri Perez before seeing him. If he comes out in that first inning and he looks good, maybe a live betting opportunity for Miami in this one. But right now, because of that, I'll be sitting this one out from a pregame standpoint.
Yeah, let me talk about 2 specials that WagerTalk's doing for me before I get into my analysis here. One of the specials is rest of the year for $2.88 a day. Currently number 1 in 2025, plus 70 units right now. The other special they're doing for me is if you use TB7, you can get 7 days of my plays for $69. If you go to that ticker down there, you can see all of our pages. You can go there to get our plays and our specials, and all of us put free plays up regularly as well. So getting into this, guys, if we don't say that, they're going to get mad at us. So, so getting into this game, Yuri Perez. I agree with Bryan. He's got good stuff, and he's unproven though, and his projected numbers so far in the season don't look good. I like him more than my numbers like him, but my numbers have him ranked very low. Merrill Kelly, a very reliable veteran who has great numbers against these batters, although a limited sample size. He's also a good pitcher at home. He's got a 105 whip. I mean, you can't argue with that. You could argue if I say his ERA is good, but a 105 whip in more than 10 starts. You can't argue with that. He doesn't put guys on base. They're playing in a pitcher's park today, and I think Merrill Kelly is going to hold these bats down. The Miami has been hitting it. Miami and Cincinnati are two teams that I feel are very dangerous at any time. They're not exactly good teams, but they can beat anybody on any day. They can beat the Dodgers. They can beat the Yankees on any day. So those are teams that I feel are kind of dangerous. But today, like Bryan said, I think Perez is going to struggle. I think Kelly's going to be solid at home, as he usually is, with his 105 whip. So I think the Diamondbacks would be the only way to go. I've been trashing the Diamondbacks bullpen all season on our shows, but this week they are coming around. They're coming around quickly. You guys, both of you were telling me, no, they got talent. I'm like, when are we going to see it? We're seeing it now. They're actually playing really well right now. I got the Diamondbacks bullpen ranked 7 now in current form, and they had been 25th or worse the first 2 months of the season. So you guys were right. I was right that they sucked, but you guys were right that they're going to come around. So, and they are. And so I think Diamondbacks would be the only way to go here, in my opinion.
I like the Marlins in this spot. I'll talk about why and just give it. It's good to get opposing opinions. First of all, I think the Diamondbacks had bullpen talent. They don't anymore. All of their good bullpen arms are pretty much hurt at this point. So they're not a bullpen I want any part of. I want to talk about Yuri Perez, though, because this is a guy that you got to understand. He missed an entire year with Tommy John surgery coming off of a different injury. So his injury, I mean, he was out for a considerable period of time. I have a friend that is close to the Marlins organization. And so I have a little insight here. They were so happy with him during his rehab. They basically said that the work he's putting in, and not every human being is different. And like, I know for me, like, let's say I injured something. My work rate in rehab, like going to physical therapy, is probably not going to be nearly as good as the next person's. I could just like see myself half-assing it, right? And I understand it's his job, but you have guys that, like, it's hard to put the work in every day to come back from a big injury and then be the same guy. And all the reports out of Marlins organization was that they were so thrilled with him during his rehab. You look at the month of May in the minors, a 2.08 ERA, a 188 batting average against, a 1.10 whip. That's what he's capable of at the big league level. I think I'm very much in agreement with Bryan. It's just a tweak or two here and there in the command front. He's walked too many batters in the couple starts in the big leagues. The last 2 starts, Washington and Atlanta, couple walks have gotten him into trouble. I didn't think he threw the ball bad against the Nationals. 1 run over 4 innings. But just doesn't quite have the command there. However, that's something I think will come back, and when it comes back, he's gonna be fine. So I'd be willing to take a flyer on the Marlins here because, now he's 3 starts in at the big league level. We have a month and a half sample because this was not a quick rehab. He made his first start of 2025 at Jupiter in late April. So he's been pitching for a while. This isn't like he needs to get the pitching feel back. This was, he got to the big league level and was all jacked up because he's now back in the big leagues for the first time in close to 2 years. And I think he just needed to take a breath, chill out, and find his command, which he had through all of his rehab starts in the minors. Marlins here, they come in playing great ball. I think a team like the Marlins is a team you want to ride when they're hot because they're young. It's almost like the A's, like they're young. So when they're playing good, it snowballs. When they're playing bad, it snowballs in the other direction. Marlins plus 1.5 makes a ton of sense here. And the price is good. I think you could take a Marlins money line. I would continue to probably ride the Marlins until they give you a reason not to. And the upside on Yuri Perez being what he is we know he can be is tremendous. And that, I think, it generates value on the Marlins. I'm not making it my parlay leg, but I may circle back to that one. I think there's still a ton of value on the Marlins in this spot. Okay, let's move on. Let's see. And as far as the over, like I'll just because Steve Duke says over, then I wouldn't be surprised if there's runs later in this game. Maybe use the Bryan Leonard method of kind of watching and seeing if you can jump in with a discounted price on the over, because I don't trust the Marlins bullpen, and I don't think Arizona's bullpen is very good either. You might get runs late in this one. Okay, sorry, that was a I got to take a breath here. Ethan Bainbridge says he loves the spot for the Nationals today. So let's stay out west, Bryan Leonard. Nats Angels. That's another kind of big price. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, it is a big price, and that's one of the first things that jumped out at me. I know Soriano's pitching very well right now, but you take a look at the personnel for these teams. Washington is maybe slightly less than the Angels, but that line is pretty high. Current number, Soriano against Irvin is looking at about a 158 with an 8.5 on the total. In this one, Irvin's a guy who doesn't, he's not very well known for Washington. Comes in with a 4.18 ERA, 1.23 whip, expected ERA 5.14, about a full run higher. His extension is great, 93rd percentile. Walk rate, 77th percentile. He only walks 6.5 a game. The problem is he's not a strikeout pitcher. He's got a 10.1 strikeout minus walk ratio. But they've done pretty well with him on the mound this year, 6-3. Though you can't really control that. But if you take a look at some of his advanced stats, he's very hittable. Whiff rate, 5th percentile. Barrel rate, 5th percentile. Strikeout rate, 12th percentile. So he's not able to dominate with the strikeouts, and he does get hit pretty hard. And even though his extension is very good, these teams are getting a good look at him. Jose Soriano, lately, let's take a look at what he's done lately, because I know he's done very well. Last time out, 6 2/3 against the Astros, 1 earned run. Against the Yankees, 7 innings, no earned runs. Against the A's, 7 innings, 1 earned run. Before that, he got bombed by Boston, but he threw 6 innings of shutout ball against the Guardians before that. So he's pitching very well as of late. And I usually find value on Soriano, but right now I think you're paying a hefty price here. Comes in with a 3.39 ERA, 3.93 expected. His whip is still high, 1.42. His walk rate, 10.9 on the season, and its career is 10.6. So we've got some good and some bad from Soriano. Great ground ball pitcher, 99th percentile, doesn't give up the home runs. Fastball velocity is very strong, 90th percentile. But 15th in walks, 13th percentile in hard hit rate, 12 in average exit velocity. When he gets hit pretty hard, but luckily, because of his ground ball rate, they're not home runs. So I'm taking a look at this game right here. And while I see some value on Washington here, don't know if I trust them against Soriano. He's just pitching so well right now. So this will be a no play for me. But I do have, as we're talking about what we have going on today, I do have a 5% going today. I don't put out a lot of 5%. There's only so many we're allowed to put out, and I'm rarely one of those guys that puts out my full complement of 5%. I do love a game on today's card. It is a 5%. We've been hot for 2 months, guys. Number 1 overall in Major League Baseball since the start of WagerTalk and net profit. So you know what we've done. You've seen us on the show. You liked our Miami yesterday. This game's a lot better, a lot stronger than that one. So big 5% going today. And we've got a nice special for everybody on the site for a 4th of July special. That'll save you some money overall. So a little bit of advertisement for our employers. And that'll be it for this game for me. What do you think on this one, TB?
I think everyone should buy your 5% play. You've been money recently. But about this game, yes, Soriano, I was high on him at the beginning of the season, and then he played like dog poo, and then now he's come back and started to play better now. Angels have almost every advantage in this game as far as I see. The only flaw I see in Soriano, like you mentioned, you kind of took my thunder. he's walking too many people. But yeah, Washington's lineup. Washington's one of those teams where they're a bad team, but they can actually put up a lot of runs. So they're kind of like in hockey, I guess they'd be like the Maple Leafs. They score a lot, but they get scored on a lot. So a lot of high scores in Washington games. But I think Soriano can hold them down. And actually, like you said, aside from that 7-burger he gave to Boston, he's held some really good lineups down to 1 or less runs, and he goes 6, 7 innings deep in his starts. He's held down the Astros, the Yankees, and the Athletics. Pretty good stuff. He's been on fire. He's finally catching his his wind here, and he's pitching really well. He has good stats against these batters in his career, although it's a small sample size. But I do like Soriano here. But Washington's lineup is good. One thing that people don't mention is the Angels bullpen. They're playing really well right now. So Angels bullpen plus Soriano both playing in high gear. Maybe take a Nationals team total under perhaps in this one. I haven't played it yet. I'll take a closer look, but I would like to take advantage of the Angels bullpen in good form plus Soriano in good form. I'd like to take advantage of that somehow, and I'll probably put a play out on that later on.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the chat with Bryan. My gut instinct was like looking at this number and saying, man, that seems awfully inflated for the Angels. I know Soriano is their ace, but that seems like an awfully inflated number. I think if I was going to play this game, though, I'd probably look to the over. The reason being the Nationals, they crush right-handed pitching. So like pretty much, and the splits are such that like, Tokyo Brandon is right. They kind of get this team has gotten discounted by the books all year, but probably rightfully so. They're 33-48 coming into play. That being said, like the lineup as it is now, with guys like Dalen Lyle and obviously the guys that are the superstars in that lineup, the James Wood, Abrams, like top to bottom, they are much stronger. They profile much stronger against right-handed pitching. And so when I see the Nationals against a right-handed pitcher, it almost can only be Nats or an over of some sort, because I feel like that's when they do their damage. And as we've seen with this team, when they can get going and when they do hit a little bit, they will throw the crooked number up. They will hit the ball out of the ballpark. So, on the flip side, though, Jake Irvin has really started to sort of taper off a little bit. I mean, he had such a dominant start to the year. You look at his last couple starts. Yeah, he was okay against the Dodgers last time out, but still, like, he had that run of quality starts. Last few times out, 2 runs over 5 1/3 against the Dodgers. That's not terrible. Still scattered 6 hits. Gave up 3 against the Rockies. The Mets got him for 4 over 5 innings. The Cubs got him for 3 over 5 innings. The Diamondbacks blew him up for 6 with 10 hits over 5 innings. So that's a far cry from the April to mid-May where it was like 8 innings of shutout ball. Pitching into the 7th against the Orioles, 2 runs, right? Like 7 1/3 of 1-run ball against the Mets. I think he's sort of, started to fade off a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised if the Angels put up a crooked number or 2 against the Nats. And then the thing that comes into play here is neither of these bullpens have any real depth. Like, yes, the Angels pen was okay against the Red Sox, a team that really has forgotten how to hit, right? And can't hit, traded away their best hitter. And then the Nationals, once you get outside those top 3-4 relievers, they have no good bullpen arms outside of the top 3 or 4. I think that there are scenarios here where you get to the end of this game and you might be against a depth bullpen arm here, because they have to really be cognizant of using their good bullpen arms in any situation that's not, hey, we might be able to win this game right now. So I'll say over 8.5 in this one. I think at some point through 9 innings, there's going to be some runs here.
Hey, Trig, can I go to my part of the parlay right now?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's go there. What do we got?
Yeah, everybody going at the last minute. I'm going to take a look at this, because the reason why I ask is because it just got hit and I don't want to lose my number. Houston is hosting Chicago here. Horton against Walter. Walter's a lefty. Chicago on the season has hit lefties well, but if you take a look at what they've done in the month of June, they were only a WRC plus of 85. They struggled against lefties so far this month. Line open 9 to the under, minus 120. Now we're seeing 8.5 minus 120. In fact, we're seeing some 8s out there. I like the first half of this game under 4.5. It's now minus 115. It just moved like 5 cents. So I want to make sure we can get that under 4.5 here between Horton and Walter. And if you look at these two pitchers, Cade Horton's been really good for them. He was a highly touted prospect. He's been very good so far this season. 3.73 ERA, 3.85 expected, 1.29 WHIP. He's the only thing is he does get hit a little bit. Hard hit 28th percentile, barrel rate 17th, strikeout rate 18th. But Houston right now in that game, in that series against Philadelphia, it was all low scoring. Both those teams, the solid pitching of both those teams really worked out well. And so neither team was able to score much. I see that continuing on here. I like Horton as a pitcher. I think he's got a nice future to him. And when you take a look at the other side, Brandon Walter for Houston, 6'2" lefty. He's got 4 starts in Major League Baseball right now. Comes in with a 3.80 ERA, 3.80 expected, 1.10 WHIP. But the reason I like him, and we've talked about this before, he doesn't walk anybody. He's thrown 23 2/3 innings, and his walk rate is 2%. 2% of the batters he faces, he walks. League average is 8.4. So he's a guy that is going to make you swing the bat. And right now, Chicago's not swinging the bat against lefties very well. So I like that situation. His strikeout minus walk ratio right now, 23.3. Now, that's not going to continue. That's elite Major League pitchers. But he's pitched very well in that regard. So we've got 2 pitchers here that I think are going to have a lot of success against 2 teams batting that have slumped a little bit as of late. And you talked about not being able to find coming in a feature game. This one looks like a good feature game to me. We've got the Cubs and the Astros here. Let's play that first half under 4.5 minus 115.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. Both pitchers pitching really well, kind of small sample size in their major league careers, but Walter, like you said, he's walking nobody. I mean, what command this guy has. Nevertheless, I have Cade Horton ranked slightly higher than him. So 2 really good pitchers on the mound. These numbers are fluid. It doesn't mean he is a better pitcher. It means he's pitching better at the moment. Houston's bullpen, number 4 in MLB, according to my rankings. Cubs lagging a little in that department. Batting, Cubs coming on a little bit recently and got them ranked 8, where I got the Astros ranked 19 in hitting as far as current form is concerned. So I certainly would not disagree with an under there, especially if it's 4.5. That would be great, I think. I don't know enough about these pitchers to trust them, so I haven't made an official play on it yet, but pretty much in agreement with everything Bryan said there.
Yeah, I really don't have much to add to this one. I don't dislike that first 5 under. I think Horton is going to be a star. Walter has been better than I imagined he would be at the big league level. And I am a little bit concerned. I'll continue to shout out one of our viewers who like 4 days ago said, don't be surprised that the Cubs are slumping a little bit going forward. I mean, they had just been tearing the cover off the ball, having amazing at-bats 1 through 9 for so long. And since that comment, they really, even though they won yesterday, they haven't had that same punch offensively, I would say, the last maybe 7 to 10 days. So that for that reason, I don't want to back the Cubs here. But that, like, I would normally look to play against Walter in this spot. I'm not going to add anything else. I think Bryan's onto something with his leg of the parlay. So yeah, we'll say that'll be my lean too, because I want him to win. So we hit the parlay under 4.5, first 5, Horton, Walker. All right, let's move on. I won yesterday, so I had to show up the rally cap of today. That's a pig right there. That is a Iron Pig, the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, located in Allentown. The Iron Pigs, located in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Tokyo Brandon, did you know the 3rd most populated city in Pennsylvania, behind Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, is Allentown, where the Iron Pigs play.
I would not know that. I would have guessed Hershey or something like that, but
oh, it's not Hershey. I've been there. There's no one there. They have a big amusement park. There's probably like 5 or 6 that are ahead of that. But anyway, Allentown, PA, and I'll give you guys a music reference quick. My idol growing up was Billy Joel. So I actually took 11 years of piano lessons as a kid because I was such a Billy Joel fan. My first concert as a 4-year-old was at the Carrier Dome, where I went to see Billy Joel, and he has a song called Allentown, and anytime anyone says Allentown, it makes me think of Billy Joel. But we're getting back to baseball, and I'll get back to the Iron Pigs, which is our segue here into Phillies Braves. Last year, I got to see Lehigh Valley play as the road team a couple of times, and I got to watch a kid pitch by the name of Mick Abel, who has now made his way into the Philly starting rotation, and rightfully so. He was a guy, I've talked about him a little bit, 2 years ago, kind of got called up, highly touted prospect, struggled a little bit at AAA, and the Phillies are another one of these organizations, Bryan Leonard, that really seem to be ahead of these other teams in terms of the way they evaluate prospects, the way they bring guys through the ranks. And sometimes it's just a matter of like having the luxury of not needing to bring the guy up to the big leagues because you have other arms in those spots. It allowed Abel to work through those issues at AAA, go through an off season where he came into spring training with the big league club. He was so much better at AAA this year. And unsurprisingly, he's going to be good at the big league level. I heard something about him maybe tipping pitches, but I still really like this kid, and I'm assuming that he's going to have that figured out. So Chad in the chat says he's on the under 9.5 in Phillies Braves. That's way too high. Phillies can't hit on the road, and the Braves, we know firsthand that the Braves are going flat. They ruined our parlay leg yesterday. So Bryan Leonard, Phillies Braves, how are you seeing this one?
First off, yes, I did know the hat, and I was hoping that you would give somewhere. Somebody said that they were going to give out a play or something. If I don't know if Tokyo Brandon talked about that the other day. He's giving out a play for something. I thought you were going to give out a play if somebody knew what that was, and I thought I was going to surprise some people. But yes, the Iron Pigs. Also, Tokyo Brandon, the logo of Motorhead, the Iron Pig. So that's something I've always wanted to get that tattoo. I'm not a tattoo guy, but I wanted to get the Motorhead Iron Pig on my shoulder. Anyway, Mick Abel, I did lose with him last time out. He did not pitch as well as I thought he would. And right now, people are betting this game as if they know the outcome. There's been a ton of money coming in on the favorite in this game, and I don't know if I agree. If he is tipping his pitches, maybe that's why. Maybe they've heard that. But don't you think he knows that? And the Phillies know that? Right. So they're going to make that difference. 3.47 ERA, 5.99 expected ERA. That is what the guys are probably betting on. They think he's been pitching with a lot of luck. 1.16 whip. Strikeout to walk rate, 14.6 on the season. He's only pitched 23 innings, 18 strikeouts, so he's not blowing people away from a strikeout situation, but he does have pretty good fastball velocity, 78th percentile, extension 71st. The reason I am thinking that there's value on Philadelphia is because Bryce Elder's on the mound for the Braves. I'm not going to lay this kind of number with Bryce Elder. Comes in with a 4.77 ERA, 5.01 expected, 1.33 whip, which is a lot better than last year. Last year, in 49 innings, he had 1.63 whip. Right now, he's got a 7.1 walk rate, 19.6 strikeout rate, 12.5 overall. Ground ball rate is he's very good at that. 88th percentile, so he doesn't give up a lot of home runs, this is a pretty decent. I've been here earlier in the year in Atlanta last year too, so I'm very familiar with this ballpark, and it does give up some home runs once in a while. But you take a look at Elder. Is this the guy you want to lay this 160 number on? His expected batting average 7th percentile, whiff percentage 10th percentile, hard hit rate 14th percentile, extension 15th. If I'm going to play this game at all, I would rather play the over in this game because of the two starting pitchers. Now, granted, I'm with the poster. Neither team is hitting right now, but these are not the same kind of pitchers that they have seen recently. I kind of like the over here, and I think there's value on Philadelphia. Right now, you can get as high as 145 here in Vegas at the South Point, 141 in some other places, Pinnacle. So if you take a look at Philadelphia and Atlanta, these two teams to me I could see a 110, 120. But to lay 155, 160, can't get there. Give me either Philadelphia or the over.
You know I'm born to lose, and gambling's for fools, but that's where I like it, baby. I don't want to live forever. Do you know that, Adam?
No.
The greatest,
I can't play
greatest heavy metal song ever written. Ace of Spades.
And don't forget the Joker. Yeah, Lemmy, Motorhead. Anyways, so Bryan and I are heavy metal headbangers, so we go to concerts together sometimes. So that's Lemmy from Motorhead. But anyways, the name the tune, Bryan, that's tomorrow at noon Eastern. I'm just gonna show everyone my spreadsheets for an hour and go over some games. And when I pull up my screen, I have to click a few buttons, and instead of mumbling to myself, I'm gonna hum some tunes, and the first people who can guess those tunes, I'm gonna give my 5% plays to. So Saturday noon Eastern time. Yeah.
People showing up with the Shazam app to see my background. Trying to get that.
Look at my background.
Shazam on the humming. Are they able to do it on the humming?
No.
You've seen my background. You know it's going to be like Iron Maiden, Led Zeppelin, Kiss, Judas Priest. So if you don't know those bands, Adam, you're probably not going to be able to guess any of the songs. If you like Billy Joel, you probably won't be able to guess any songs. But it's just a fantasy. Oh, that's my favorite Billy Joel song. But anyways, okay. Let's go to the Braves Phillies. Let me get back on track here. I got Bryce Elder ranked one of the worst pitchers in MLB, including his expected numbers. His surface numbers might not be that bad, but his expected numbers are. I mean, a 4.77 ERA, not the most horrible thing. It's not like he's a Colorado Rockies pitcher or anything, but I got his expected numbers much worse than that. I think he's going to get tagged, but I got, like Bryan said, if you put these two teams together, it should be -110, -120 kind of thing. I got him almost dead even in batting. And I don't know enough about Abel to make an intelligent prognosis on him. But I do know Bryce Elder's bad, and but Atlanta has the bullpen advantage, so they're definitely not a 160 favorite in this game. That I can tell you. I don't know if I have the testicular fortitude to take Philadelphia, but I definitely know that Atlanta is not a -160 favorite here.
TB, I don't know if I do either, but I'll tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to use Phillies +1.5 in the parlay, -165. And I'll just tell you the reason I want to go +1.5. I like the fact that I get the road team with the +1.5. It's more valuable than getting it at home. Since it's a parlay leg, I don't mind paying the extra juice because I know we're getting plus money anyway. And it gives us a cushion there in what could be a close game. It's funny to me, it's 2025, right? Years ago, if a guy was tipping his pitches, this would be like whispering behind, you might have guys in the know whispering behind someone's back. In 2025, if someone tips their pitches, it's on social media within a day. You've got Pitching Ninja showing how he's not tunneling his pitches. You don't think he fixed that in 2 seconds? He is. If he was tipping his pitches last start, he certainly isn't doing it now. And I actually saw the side by side, and I was like, who is even picking up on that? So I can't, but I do think it's permeated into the market here. I think people saw a viral tweet and now think, oh, Mick Abel's tipping his pitches. And so suddenly Bryce Elder and the Braves are a $1.50, $1.60 favorite, which is insane because Abel's a better pitcher than Bryce Elder. Bryce Elder is a 4A guy that had a good first half when he got called up back in 2023 and somehow maneuvered his way onto an all-star team. He's not a great big league pitcher. And Carmine's #1 fan in the chat says Braves are going flat. WTF, how so? Well, they're the definition of going flat because they were playing good ball And all of a sudden, the last 2 nights, they've had terrible at-bats. Couldn't put together a single good at-bat against the Mets' depth arms last night. Griffin Canning blew out his ACL in like the 3rd inning. So you had basically Austin Warren for 2, Daniel Nunez for 2, and the Braves did nothing against any of those guys. The night before, they struggled and lost 7-3. So yeah, I do think this is kind of, prior to a stretch where they had won, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think they were 9-3 prior to that stretch. So that is literally the definition of going flat. Is their effort in the last 2 games. The Phillies are still just my opinion, a superior team by like a wide margin to the Braves. I talked about it on yesterday's show. I've kind of warmed up to the Phillies. I thought they might miss the playoffs coming into the year, or like when all those teams out west were playing well. Now it looks like they're going to compete for the division here in the NL East. I'm very high on Mick Abel. So yeah, Phillies plus 1.5. What do we got there, Brian Leonard? Minus 160, minus 165?
Phillies plus 1.5. Let me get to that. We're looking at basically minus 150.
Beautiful.
1.5 minus 150.
Well, that'll be my parlay leg. Phillies plus 1.5, minus 150. And I will now let Tokyo Brandon propose the next game because we need to close out this 3-teamer. So what are we talking about here, and who are you looking at for this TV?
Actually, my parlay leg is going to be a game that we've already covered. So let me give it out real quick, right, and then I will propose a game. Is that all right?
Perfect.
My parlay leg is going to be the Rays on the money line today. I think it's minus 140 if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be my parlay leg. And the game I'm going to propose is going to be the Yankees and A's because wait, hang on a second. Yeah. Mainly because I want to know what you guys think about it. So I'll let you guys go first. I do have some thoughts on it, but let me go to Brian first. What do you think about the A's and Yankees?
First of all, even better number for you. It's not 140, it's 124.
Great.
Over Sagano. So that's even better.
Yeah.
The A's, okay.
Spence and Warren.
Okay. Right now, right now, West Sacramento is really struggling offensively. They were the first baseman was on a hot streak when Cleveland was there over the weekend. But other than that, they have not hit very well right now. So I do have some concerns about their offense. And they're going against Warren, who, even going back to spring training, Warren was a guy that showed a lot of talent. He was just very inconsistent. They are throwing Mitch Spence today, and he's done pretty well for him. 3.84 ERA, 1.30 WHIP, 4.72 expected. But he's an average pitcher. He's nothing great. His career in 2 seasons, 4.37 ERA. So he's nothing special, but he can eat some innings for him. He's gone 58 innings so far this year. Only 4 starts, so they're trying to stretch him out a little bit, but he's not bad. But from the other standpoint, Will Warren, this is a guy right now that is, when he's good, he has been outstanding. That said, he still comes in with a 4.66 ERA, 3.54 expected, much better than his actual numbers. 1.33 WHIP, that's always been his problem. His walk rate this year, 9.5, in his career, 2 years, 9.4. But right now, his strikeout rate is 29.4. So he's at 19.9 strikeout minus walk ratio. That is excellent. The problems are when he gets hit pretty well. Hard hit rate, 7th percentile. Average exit velocity, 11th percentile. His chase rate only in the 23rd. He's a big strikeout pitcher. He's got great extensions, so that ball gets on you in a hurry. So he's going to get some strikeouts. Right now, he's got 96 strikeouts and only 75 in the 3rd innings. Those are relief pitcher numbers, and he's had them all in starts. So this is a situation where I really like Warren here. I think he's a big advantage from a pitching standpoint, and the A's are not hitting right now. The problem is the line. Right now, the Yankees are about a 240, 238 favorite with a total of 8.5, and I just can't find that within me the way the Yankees bats are swinging it right now to be able to lay that number.
All right. I think we're going to disagree on this one. But before that, let me tell you one more time. I got two specials. One is rest of the year for $2.85 a day. If you go to my page down there at WagerTalk, you can get that TB7 for 7 days, $69. Number one in 2025 profit. Now that is over with, we kind of disagree here because I actually like Spence a lot. The problem is he doesn't have enough time being a starter because he started the season as a relief pitcher, and he's only had technically 4 starts. In one of them, he got bombed by the what are they called now? Not the Indians, the Guardians. What a stupid name for. I'm sorry, Brian, but I don't like that name for.
I agree.
I think it's a lame name, but anyways, so I don't like to say it. I like to say the Cleveland team, but anyways, I think Spence is pretty good actually. Besides that game against Cleveland, he pitched really well. He gave up 1-0-1 and he went 5 innings in each one. So I see some promise here, and I do like his expected numbers. And I'm not a fan of Warren. So the one thing Warren has going for him is he has good numbers against these batters, but it's a limited sample size. I am full agreement. The Yankees are hitting better right now, and the bullpens are negligible in my opinion. So yeah, it's a tough play for me. But the reason I brought it up is not because I have a play on it, but I wanted to hear what you guys thought about it, about Will Warren specifically, because he's kind of an enigma to me.
Yeah, I mean, if this exact same scenario happened like 6 weeks ago, I have a feeling A's plus 1.5 would have been a rather big wager for me. Just like, where the price point is, I think A's plus 1.5 is like minus 105, minus 110. It's still the way I lean, and it's definitely got my eye. I'm not saying I'm not considering it, but I'm coming around on Will Warren a little bit. He is winning me over every time he goes out and throws 6 innings of competitive ball. A couple starts ago, 11 strikeouts against the Angels. Last start, pitches into the 7th inning. Looked really good against the Orioles. Start before that, 5 2/3 of shutout ball against the Royals. Had that blow up against the Dodgers, but who doesn't blow up against the Dodgers from time to time, right? Like, we really going to hold that outing on the road at LA against the kid? It was really the one bad start he's had. So for that reason, I'm having a harder time getting to the window with the A's, because this is a guy that I identified when he was down at Scranton that I thought would be a big league rotation piece. To be honest with you, I didn't think it would be in New York, because I figured they knew this too. And I thought this was the guy that they were, or other teams knew this. And this was the guy that teams were going to want to get back from the Yankees while he was down at Scranton, sort of showing all these things. So I'm kind of in on Warren. Doesn't mean I still don't think there's value to be had with the A's here. I played against the A's yesterday with the Tigers. Big reason I wanted to play against the A's yesterday. I don't think they profile as well against left-handed pitching, and they did nothing against Dietrich Enns. Totally clueless in that game. Today against a right-hander in Warren, I think they can generate a little bit more offense. And I do think Spence, of the A's sort of starters right now, I think Spence has like the most unrealized upside of this group. So he's someone that I've been okay to sort of like play on at times. That being said, playing in Yankee Stadium on a Friday night's a whole different ballgame. So I lean A's, but I like I said, 2 months ago, no brainer. This is an A's plus 1.5 play for me all day. I've got to think about it a little bit more, just based on like where the two teams are at the moment. And Roger Long says, "We didn't start the fire." That's literally the song that, as a 4-year-old, I gravitated to, and the reason I like Billy Joel so much. And actually, there's a VHS tape of me singing that as a 4-year-old. If we could get that on social media, it would do serious numbers. Go ahead, Brian Leonard.
I did want to point out, even though I like the hard rock, I do like Billy Joel. "We Didn't Start the Fire," I believe, is his least liked song by his fans, and I don't think he plays it in concert because of that. Also, getting back to Lemmy with Motorhead, excellent documentary out there called Lemmy. I've had the opportunity to meet him before. Just a great guy. Unfortunately, passed away. Used to hang out at the Rainbow all the time. He had an apartment right above the Rainbow in California.
I just hijacked the comments saying Motorhead is hair metal, man. You just lost all your credibility. Go home. Motorhead is not hair metal. Poison is hair
punk
metal.
rock than they are to
Poison is hair metal. Motorhead is more like Slayer. But anyway, sorry. Let's wrap up the parlay. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's I'll one more comment. He's playing it now, but yeah, there was a stretch where he didn't play it as much because he's not on the piano. He was up there playing a guitar, and I think a lot of his fans were like, get back on the piano. Stay in your lane, right? Like, we want you. We came to see you play the piano. So anyway, the parlay, and there's a great 7-day special that's running through July 4th. So go check that out. It's good on anyone's page. The parlay that we're trying to hit today one more time. Bryan Leonard, Cubs, Astros, under 4.5 in the first 5. Tokyo Brandon's got the Rays on the money line. And then I'm going to go with Phillies plus 1.5. That comes out to plus 460. We started the week with a parlay win, and we're going to try to close the week out with another one. So one more time, Phillies plus 1.5, Rays minus 125. Those are full game sides. And then we have a first 5 total. Cubs, Astros, under 4.5. That 3-teamer comes out in the plus 460 range. That's what we'll go with for a price on it. We've made it to the weekend. I hope everyone has a tremendous weekend. Hope you guys cash all your tickets. Go grab Bryan Leonard's 5% play. Let's have a great weekend. We will see you guys Monday morning, 9 a.m. Good luck this weekend. Cash all your bets.